I'd prefer that Kamala Harris for president right now, and honestly, I think a lot of Americans agree with me. Do you think it's a good headline for all the headlines to say that Republicans are so worried about losing the midterms? They decided to rig the maps. Fox News' own polling has Donald Trump's approval rating cratering. He's negative 30% on the inflation. I think people are awfully frustrated with the leadership they're getting right now.
Jesse Watters recently had on White Dudes for Harris founder in an interview on Primetime in what I'm sure he thought would be an easy takedown for clicks and views, only to get handedly embarrassed. So leave us a like on the video if you can. It helps us out a bunch. It gets us out there in the algorithm. And let's jump into this takedown with some fact checks ready.
This is not a confessional. You're not going to come on and say, I was wrong about Trump. I burned the White Dude for Harris hat. Are you still sticking with Harris?
Listen, I'd prefer that Kamala Harris for president right now, and honestly, I think a lot of Americans agree with me. Fox News' own polling has Donald Trump's approval rating cratering. He's negative 30% on the inflation. I think people are awfully frustrated with the leadership they're getting right now.
Yeah, no, he's not just getting started. He's in his second term for one, but he's also passed a major bill, enough executive orders to be a dictator, and it's clear what the goals of his administration are going to be, and Americans are handedly rejecting it. Like, this is why he finds himself so underwater, even on trademark issues like immigration, where Americans don't support the cruel and inhumane treatment they're seeing that's included the deportation of a U.S. citizen child and the harassment of multiple veterans. Add in that he's tanking our economy on top of that. Every metric since he came into office has gotten worse. We've had 3 straight months of losses in manufacturing jobs. Like, that is ring the alarm type scary. Rising inflation, rising unemployment, underperforming GDP, on top of people knowing that his bill in just a year and a half's time will strip millions off of healthcare and food stamps.
I don't think he's qualified for the job, and I don't think he's doing a good job either. We've got to do a better job of winning people back, giving them a reason to care about us, giving them a reason to believe that we're going to fight for them, help lower grocery prices, help them buy a house and retire with dignity. We didn't do that. I think we got to be sobered about that. But you guys are running around acting like you wanted a landslide that you didn't when Donald Trump is unpopular and we're facing the worst job market we've seen since the last time.
No, I mean, a landslide is like Nixon. It's like Reagan. We've won bigger landslides. I would agree.
Barack Obama in
I would
2008,
absolutely agree. Well, Reagan and Nixon had better numbers than Barack, but we don't want to talk about the Messiah. I know Michelle's already talked badly enough about him. Like,
I mean, weird flex, but okay. Imagine having to brag that the 2 most popular candidates in your party were products of the Southern strategy, but I digress. He is spot on here. Both in rhetoric and in a clear political strategy policy agenda, Democrats do need to improve. But in terms of how the right is pretending Democrats are dead in the water and will never recoup from this and have no future, well, that's just what they do every time they win an election. This is the same things you heard in 2016, and then they lost in 2018, lost massively in 2020, and underperformed in 2022. Again, we've swept those elections from 2018 to 2024, where in 2024, with the candidate running on 100 days in the midst of recovering from a pandemic, compared to Trump's running on 3 years, we lost by 2% or a couple tens of thousands of votes in 3 states. Like, that's not a landslide victory where now Trump is ruining any credibility his party had. And I mean, at this point, it's clear. Anyone who says the 2024 election was about anything except the economic fuel left over from COVID is lying to themselves or you.
The Texas Democrats, as a political guy, do you think it's smart for all the headlines to come out and say Democrats ran away from the job?
Well, let's take a step back from that for a second. Do you think it's a good headline for all the headlines to say that Republicans are so worried about losing the midterms, they decided to rig the maps?
I haven't seen those headlines.
They're supposed to do it.
I haven't seen those headlines,
and
I do know that both sides redistrict, and it's not the end of the world. But to run away from work, I mean, most Americans, they look at that and they're like, they don't like that. You get that, right?
You have to first realize the only time anyone ever does both sides, like anybody ever on either side, like the only time it ever happens is when they know they've legitimately lost the issue. It's the purest form of whataboutism. It's cope from people who know they can't defend their side. It's only done when Republicans feel like they can't justify Trump's actions in this gerrymandering regard and in a lot of regards with MAGA. But remember, it's always Democrats evil and conservatives good until they're shown indisputable proof, and then it's, well, both sides are bad, which is wild because in this case, it's like one guy is a serial killer with 20 bodies and the other guy shot someone in self-defense, and you're like, they're both killers. Republicans gerrymandered 23 seats. They redrew 11 maps that were considered unfair, a lot of them on racial grounds. They have disproportionate control of the courts to litigate these matters. They They have all of the most gerrymandered states, multiple of the sort, right? And they actively block a federal gerrymandering ban every time it gets brought up. To try and pretend this is a both sides issue means you're literally the problem. Like, you are the reason that this thing still exists, because you're giving justification to the true side that is clearly abusing it the most. Like, they literally want Democrats to play fair and completely follow the rules while they don't look the way of Republicans cheating to take power and do whatever, because why don't Democrats just ban it when they win?